Paris is burning. For 3 brutal days in July 1830, revolutionary forces waged the street-by-street battle with the royal army of Charles X. Among those witnessing this turmoil was 32-year-old Eugène Delacroix. Though he had never picked up a weapon, Delacroix was deeply moved by the scene before him. The people of France, rising in defiance, forging a new future amidst the city's flames. In the months that followed, he would immortalize this moment in his masterpiece, Liberty Leading the People, a painting that cemented his reputation and became a timeless emblem of the French Republic. Welcome to Pieces of Art. I'm Ollie, and today we'll explore Liberty Leading the People by Eugène Delacroix. We'll start with the historical context of the painting, then delve into its powerful composition, and finally reflect on the enduring symbolism of liberty and freedom that continue to inspire audiences today. By 1830, Eugène Delacroix was already a celebrated figure in the Romantic movement, known for his dramatic, emotional style that rejected the cold precision of neoclassicism. His work often explored themes of passion, struggle, and humanity's raw emotions. The painting itself depicts the events of the July Revolution, a 3-day uprising known as Les Trois Glorieuses, the 3 Glorious Days. This revolution arose in response to King Charles X's increasingly autocratic policies, which many saw as a betrayal of the French Revolution's ideals. By July 30th, 1830, Charles X had fled to Britain, and Louis-Philippe I was installed as the new monarch. Known as the Citizen King, Louis-Philippe promised a more inclusive, constitutional monarchy. Unfortunately, his reign failed to live up to its promise. The Citizen King's compromises alienated both the conservatives and progressives, leading to further uprisings. The eventual end of the monarchy and the establishment of the French Third Republic were the result in 1870. Delacroix's painting, created in the immediate aftermath of the July Revolution, stands as both a celebration of idealism and a reminder of the complex, often turbulent path towards liberty. At the center of the painting, we find the figure of Liberty, sometimes also known as Marianne, a powerful allegorical figure representing the French Republic. She is comparable to other national personifications, such as Lady Liberty in the United States or Britannia in the United Kingdom. Delacroix portrays her as a young and determined woman, dressed in a loose-fitting tunic secured with a red sash, a nod to classical antiquity and also to revolutionary iconography. On her head, she wears a Phrygian cap, an ancient symbol of freedom with roots in Roman history. The cap, also known as the pileus, was given to freed slaves in Rome and became an emblem signifying liberty and emancipation. Liberty strides forward barefoot, a sign of both humility and resilience, holding the tricolor flag aloft in her right hand. In her left hand, she wields a musket with a fixed bayonet, underscoring the violent reality of the revolutionary struggle. Her profile is reminiscent of Libertas, the Roman goddess of liberty, who was often depicted in classical art with flowing robes and a dignified bearing. Delacroix places her in a contrappo stance, her weight shifted onto her bare front foot, creating a sense of momentum and dynamism. This pose, commonly used in classical sculpture, conveys grace and urgency, which emphasizes her role as an active leader, rallying the people forward. Her exposed right breast and partially covered left breast carry symbolic weight. Throughout art history, bared female breasts have often been associated with purity, strength, and maternal nurturing. Here, Delacroix may be suggesting liberty as a motherly figure, giving birth to a new France, whilst also showing the raw, unvarnished truth of revolutionary ideals. The blending of ancient symbolism with contemporary struggle makes liberty a timeless and universal figure, both an idealized vision of freedom and an embodiment of the revolutionary spirit. Marianne remains a powerful symbol of freedom and the French Republic to this day. During World War II, she became an icon of the French resistance, representing defiance against the Nazi-collaborating Vichy regime. Her image appears on French currency, stamps, and government buildings. Every French town hall or mairie prominently displays a bust of Marianne, a visual reminder of the Republic's core values of liberté, égalité, fraternité. To Liberty's left is one of the most striking figures in the painting, a young boy armed with 2 pistols, charging forward in near lockstep with her. He wears a schoolboy's cap and carries a satchel that bears a school crest, marking him as a child of the revolution. Delacroix uses this figure as a symbol of youthful idealism and the courage of the next generation. The boy's stance and determined expression suggest that he is fully committed to the cause, even as he prepares to step over the body of a fallen royalist soldier. Art historians have speculated that this figure may have inspired Victor Hugo's Gavroche, the rebellious street urchin who became a central character in Les Miserables. On the far right of the painting, 2 men illustrate how the July Revolution united people across class boundaries. The man furthest to the right is dressed in the tattered clothes of the working class and wields a sword, while the man beside him wears finer garments, marking him as part of the bourgeoisie. In fact, some have suggested that this may in fact be a self-portrait of Delacroix himself. Despite their social differences, they stand shoulder to shoulder, their gazes aligned and their body language unified. Delacroix does not shy away from the grim realities of revolution. Beneath Liberty's feet are the fallen, victims of the violence that accompanies social upheaval. Among them are both citizens and royalist soldiers, the latter clearly identifiable by their red epaulets. On the bottom left, a man lies in what appears to be night clothes, suggesting he may have been dragged from his bed during the Royal Army's attempt to quash the rebellion. His vulnerable state contrasts sharply with the defiance of the living figures above him. Finally, to Liberty's right, we see a man dressed in red, white, and blue, the colours of the French tricolore. His dress suggests he's likely a revolutionary, injured in the battle, but still gazing upward as Liberty strides past. His posture, caught between defeat and hope, reinforces the painting's central theme, the cost of freedom and the unrelenting determination to fight for it. Liberty leading the people exemplifies the complex and often fractious relationship between art, conflict, and propaganda. In a letter to his brother, written shortly after beginning the painting, Delacroix confessed, "I have undertaken a modern subject, a barricade, and although I may not have fought for my country, at least I shall have painted for her. It has restored my good spirits." This statement reflects the personal nature of the painting. Delacroix was not a revolutionary by action, but he used his art to contribute to the cause. But such a bold statement came with risks. Upon its completion, Liberty leading the people was met with mixed reactions. It was celebrated by some as a triumph of revolutionary ideals, praised for its emotional intensity and dramatic composition. Others, however, saw it as incendiary, its glorification of rebellion and violence, making it a politically volatile work. The French government initially purchased the painting in 1831, likely as a gesture of support for both Delacroix and the ideals of the July Revolution. However, soon realizing its potential to incite unrest, it was quietly removed from view, and for years it was hidden away. France in the early 19th century was a nation still grappling with the violent legacy of revolution, the rise and fall of Napoleon, the restoration of Bourbon rule under King Charles X, and then the July Revolution. By painting liberty leading the people, Delacroix was staking his reputation on a cause that could easily have been swept aside by shifting political tides. Ultimately, this work blurs the line between art and propaganda. It's both a masterpiece of romanticism and a political statement. A vivid reminder of the power of art to inspire, provoke, and challenge authority. So why does this painting still resonate today? I think the answer lies in its central and timeless themes of liberty and freedom. Delacroix, a true romanticist, wasn't trying to create a documentary image. This dramatic scene never occurred. Instead, he captured an idea, a feeling, the optimistic promise of better days ahead, freeing from the bonds of oppressive rule. I think this is a sentiment we can all relate to, and the yearning for freedom from oppression is something intrinsic to the human spirit. Perhaps this is why the style and composition of this painting has inspired countless other artists trying to capture the same concept. Whether the inspiration is more abstract, like Joe Rosenthal's photo of the raising of the flag on Iwo Jima, to direct uses of the painting, like Coldplay's 2008 album Vida la Vida. Most tellingly, contemporary interpretations have served as rallying points in both the French Yellow Vest protests of the early 2010s, or more recently in the 2014 Hong Kong Umbrella Movement. Both of these protests involved a group of citizens rising up against what they considered to be an unfair government. Delacroix, of course, would have had no way of knowing that his painting would come to resonate with such diverse groups of people over the centuries to come. Liberty leading the people remains to this day a treasured celebration of the French Republic and the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity that form its foundation. The message of this painting has found meaning and resonance well beyond France's borders. It symbolizes our hope for the future while acknowledging the struggles of the present as the cost we must pay. Like liberty herself, we must press on, undaunted, determined, and hopeful for a brighter tomorrow. I do hope you've enjoyed this exploration of Liberty Leading the People by Eugène Delacroix. If you did, please consider sharing this video with someone who might appreciate it, or sharing your thoughts with a comment. Until next time, thank you.